without a shadow of a doubt that you're created on purpose for a purpose. Mindset and money revolution. You have to have a mindset revolution to experience a money revolution. That's when you experience a true wealth revolution.
My name is Chad Free. Welcome to the Wealth Revolution Podcast.
Welcome back to the Wealth Revolution Podcast. My name is Chad Free, and I am glad to be back with you. Hey, I got to tell a funny joke. Just the way I actually introduced myself, I kind of reminded myself, only a few people know this, but when I was in the 9th grade in high school, I actually was running for class president. So I get up there and I have this cool speech, and I'm like, at the very end, I say, hey, remember, when you vote, vote for me, Chad Free. My voice cracked. My voice just completely cracked. So that was just a reminder of kind of got took back a long time ago when I just said what my name was. Some of you will laugh at that, some of you won't. But hey, we got a good podcast for you today. I'm going to talk to you about the 4 steps in building wealth. 4 steps in building wealth. And you know, my goal and my calling is to make a very complex and complicated subject that's often intimidating very simple. Very, very simple and easy to digest. And the goal is for you to take control, gain clarity, and become confident in what you're doing in your wealth building process. So, let's go ahead and begin. I have actually come up with a system. Now, if I see this system out anywhere and it ends up being trademarked, then I'll know that you got it right off of the Wealth Revolution podcast. No, I'm just kidding. I have not got it trademarked yet, but I think that it's very, very important to consider, being that the financial subject in itself is often very complex, complicated, and intimidating. And if you've heard some of my past podcasts, specifically one called Disrupting the Status Quo, maybe that's intentional. Maybe it's intentional to continue to keep us confused because maybe the industry wants to maintain control. And see, they're in control and they have clarity and they're confident in what they're doing. But if you think about it, do you feel like you're in control? Or are you addicted to hopium? Are you clear on what your money's doing for you? If you are, that's fantastic. But most are not. And are you confident that all the hours that you put in, every strategy, all the worry, all the emotion that goes into building wealth and your money, are you confident that it's doing what you intended it to do? So I like to use this 4-step system and this 4-step formula to just get you to focus one step at a time. And at every step, ask yourself, is there a next step within that step that can optimize that stage? All right. So again, if we look at a whole entire stairwell and that thing could keep going up and go to the right and then go to the left, sometimes that can be overwhelming. So we like to look at one step at a time. All right. So ECAD, what does that stand for, you may ask? Well, when you're thinking about building wealth, most people go straight to what they think the first stage is, and that is contributing, investing, putting money away into something for the future, right? However, some people are thinking along those lines, but before the C of contributions, there's an E. You know, we have e-courses, we have e-books, we got the ECAD, okay? ECAD. So what that stands for is earning, contributions, accumulation, and distribution. But you notice the E is first. You must earn enough money to be able to contribute. You must contribute to have anything to accumulate. And then you must have accumulated something to be able to distribute it. So, hope you guys are following so far. Let's talk about E. The way I like to do my planning, and I got this straight from my coach, is it's very simple. A to B. You're at A and you're trying to get to B. And what is B? B is your goals. What is your goals? What are you trying to do? When do you want to retire? How much money you want to be making? A lot of things in life can be put into that simple formula. So I like to define B first. Where are you trying to go? What are you trying to achieve? What does that ideal scenario look like in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years when you retire? What does that look like? Define it. Okay. So we just put in the destination of where we're trying to go. Now, in order to do that on a GPS, we must enter our current location. So, in order to get directions, we got to know where we're starting from. So, what are you doing currently right now? Where are you at? What is your current state? So, let's talk about that. How much are you earning? When we look at our B, are we earning enough money to contribute? If you're contributing, where are you contributing? If you have contributed, are you accumulating? And if you have been accumulating, is it safe, protected, and going to be there when it's ready to distribute it? All right. So, first of all, are you contributing? I think we look at that first to see if the problem is in the earnings. So, are you currently contributing towards anything for your future in investments or what have you? Then, what you want to do is you want to list what are you contributing to? And I want to give you some ideas here. Are you consistently contributing towards a 401k, an IRA, something at work, let's just say, some kind of retirement account? Are you contributing to that? All right. Another thing that you can think about is, are you contributing consistently towards debt? In other words, if you have a mortgage payment, do you consistently contribute extra towards that debt? Whether it's the house payment, it could be a car payment, it could be whatever. The goal here that I've always had in my practice is to help you build wealth, eliminate debt, turn debt into wealth using your existing lifestyle. I like to solve problems and not create new ones. So, what I like to do is find what you're currently doing and then show you the comparison. The value is in the comparison. So, if we can redirect those dollars, that's what we want to do. So, contributing. Are you contributing to a retirement account, IRA, 401k, what have you? Are you contributing extra towards debt? And are you contributing anything to like a savings account consistently? Now, if you said no to all of those, guess what? We need to go back to the E. And I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on the E, but that means you have an earning problem. So I would say at that point in time, you're asking yourself, am I in the right vehicle that's going to carry me from A to B? So are you in the right occupation? Are you in the right job, the role that's going to get you those dreams? And I will tell you this with every ounce of my being, I believe it. If you have the belief and the desire, then there is a way. You may have the belief and you might not have the desire. So why are we having the conversation, right? But again, we got to have the right earnings to be able to contribute. All right. So now we're contributing. And at that point in time, we want to make sure that we're optimizing our contributions. So that's why we look at our debt, extra debt, whatever. We want to make sure that when we get into the next phase of accumulation, let's make sure that we're keeping the money. Warren Buffett says his 2 rules. I've say this over and over again, but that's how we run our practice. Is the 2 rules of investing is the number 1 rule is don't lose money. The number 2 rule is don't forget the number 1 rule. And the more that I get into this, I'm helping so many people, not just on an individual level, but on a corporate level. When you look at lost dollars, that is some of the biggest things that's slowing people down from being profitable and building real, true wealth. And we've talked about that before. When you're accumulating, a lot of times we kind of separate the debt, but the debt is a big deal. We're not knocking you because you have debt, but you've got to attack that and start plugging the holes in that bucket that you're contributing to. Because again, if you are losing, say, 35% of your mortgage payment is going towards interest, then no wonder that bucket's not filling up quick enough. So there's things that we can do to turn that debt into wealth, and that helps the accumulation process. Are you in something that you really, really know about and convicted about? I don't have any problems with people investing in anything that they are passionate about, that they know about. But most people, let's just be honest, they don't know what they're investing in. They have no clue. You have this, group A funds and group B funds and 20% in this conglomerate fund, but they don't know what those funds are doing. It's all hopium. So there are strategies that you get the upside of the market with no downside risk. And it's almost like an escalator. So that is something that you can look at as far as your accumulation. Another thing is taxes. Are you being tax efficient in your savings? And if you're not being tax efficient in your savings, you want to make sure that you're being tax efficient to set up for the next stage, and that's distribution. All right. So we've talked about earning. We got to have earnings in order to have contributions. Now, where can we find the money? We went through that list. Now we're accumulating something. Are we really accumulating in our bucket? Or do we have holes in the bottom of our bucket? And how do we plug those without interrupting our existing lifestyle? See, I don't want you to sell your car and ride a bicycle to work. I don't want you to stop going on dates with your honey and start eating beef jerky on a Friday night. I'm not in that. Some people say that that's what you need to do. I don't believe that. That should be your conviction, not somebody pointing their finger and telling you that you're bad if you don't do that, right? So as we go to the last stage, it's distribution. We're all going to distribute your wealth one day, whether it's in the form of retirement income, or is it to distribute to your heirs? And as you can tell, taxes will have a big part to do with that. A lot of people forego paying taxes on the seed now and elect to pay taxes on the harvest later. Now, can you imagine that, having one kernel of corn that I don't want to pay taxes on that, but I've got 100 acres. I'll just wait and pay taxes on the harvest whenever that comes in at a rate that you can let me know. That's kind of what we're doing with the government. So we use strategies that can help with that as well. We just want to optimize. So to recap, the ECAD, You've got your earnings. Are you optimizing that stage? Let's stay there for a minute. Maybe you want to partner with somebody. Maybe you have barricaded your territory in how or where you work. I know forever I just did work right here in the upstate of South Carolina. Now I have more business across the country than I do right here in the upstate of South Carolina. But you got to have a mindset to be able to do that. Don't limit yourself. The second thing is contributions. Are you maximizing that level right there? And if you need help finding money, if you need help, make sure that you're putting that money in the right spot. See, the goal is to put that money on the hamster wheel so it's actually doing the work for you instead of you being on the hamster wheel for the rest of your life. The second thing is accumulating. Let's make sure that we don't have any lost dollars that we're unaware of, both individually and corporately. And then lastly, are we prepared to distribute this money? Now, let's talk about the distribution side of it. If you are approaching retirement, I will just tell you that the general rule of thumb, I think I've mentioned this in the Disrupting the Status Quo podcast, but the general rule of thumb is that whatever your nest egg is, your total pot of money, the traditional rule is 4% of that each year is supposed to be what you live off of. So, example, if you had $1 million, then $40,000 per year will be your paycheck before taxes, hoping that the market doesn't go down. Again, that's before taxes. Now, studies are showing that it's actually lower. It's 2.7 to 2.8% because of medical advances and the fact that we're just living longer. So if you think about that, is that really what a millionaire looks like? $28,000 a year before taxes. So we have strategies that can bump that up 5, 6, 7% withdrawal rate. So what did that just do? If you have $1 million, you went from $27,000, $28,000 a year to $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year. All right. So we want to make sure that we're maximizing your income. All right. So the goal, again, is to take control of your finances, gain clarity on all your options, and ultimately experience the wealth revolution movement by just being confident in what your money's doing. Because so many people, and I was just on a call earlier, and he sensed the same thing. He articulated what my calling is in my heart. He says, you just want people to not have money dictate what they do, when they do it, and who they do it with. Yeah, I want to divorce that relationship. I believe in that kind of divorce. I believe that the money should be used as a resource, and there's an abundance of it. You just got to go get it. And you need to use it for influence and an impact. That's the role of money. It is a resource for income to be used for influence and impact. And that's it, guys. So it's one step at a time. If you want to have a talk with me or set up an appointment with me, be sure to DM me or get in touch with me. And I'll be glad to go through this ECAD system with you and see how we can optimize your wealth. And again, like I said, I usually average 30 to 50% increase without interrupting your current lifestyle. So guys, hope you enjoyed that. Until next time, God bless you. Have a great one. Bye-bye.